Oh, we can go? Okay. All right, we'll call this meeting to order with the roll call. Brandon Holmes.
Jonathan Clore.
Dan Matthews.
Terry Hudson for Marissa Treat.
Butch Freeman.
Keith Block.
Donna Jackson.
John Wilkerson.
Okay, seeing that we have a full house, that's wonderful. Jonathan, could we get you please to lead the pledge? Notice that this meeting was properly posted on April 28th. We've already done the Pledge of Allegiance, so at this time, we'll move on into the agenda. First item is approval of our minutes from March.
Motion approved. Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Consent agenda, items 2 through 5.
Motion approved. Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve consent agenda. All in favor? Aye. Item number 6, retirement board election memo and application. These seem to come around so soon, you know what? They really do. John?
Sure. It's that time again, like Butch referred to. Dan Matthews' retirement seat is up, and Brandon Holmes' employee seat is up for an election. Their term expires the end of June, so we'll have that the election in May and have the results back to the June retirement board.
Okay. Any questions about that? Hearing none. Item number 7, discussion of possible action for the BOK forfeiture report. John?
Sure. This is as at the end of March, the balance is 1.2 million. As a reminder, we transferred out 800,000 to the pension plan from this, and we making our annual required contribution.
Okay, now you're reflecting that 800, okay, yeah, never mind. Never mind. Any other questions or comments? For the action would be to receive the report. Do I hear a motion to do that?
So moved. Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to receive as presented. All in favor? Aye. Yeah, but that's true. Okay, discussion possible action regarding a planned performance review by BOK. John?
Sure, representatives with the BOK are here to give you a quick plan update and performance review.
Good afternoon. I come here a lot, and you see me sit back there, and is she ever going to say anything? So here I am. I am going to give you the cash as well. But this covers the full plan review that's attached. And I won't go through the full plan review. You might be here until after 5. So, but that full plan review that's attached does give a lot of detail. Yes, I'm going to touch on.
Okay. I just didn't want you to forget.
Okay, we're going to start out with financial wellness. And this is a new feature that BOK rolled out, actually, I believe the latter part of 2023. And it is with a third party, but it is in addition to Retire Smart. It's on the Start Right platform. And it's really another tool for our employees, to use for financial wellness. So what we have found is that employee engagement, and this provides education and helps reduce stress, which in turn reduces health issues, more productivity at work, and it helps employees be savvy about their finances. But what this also does is help with emergency savings plan. Maybe one of your employees is trying to budget to buy their first home, or maybe they're trying to plan for college expenses. This actually helps them budget for that. And they can go onto this, when they log into their account, there will be a financial wellness. They'll be able to plug in credit card, from outside vendors. They will be able to plug in their mortgage, and then it takes all of that and kind of combines it and tells them where they're at on retirement and things they can do to plan for those particular expenses. Again, this is in no charge to Oklahoma County and no charge to the participant.
And
I believe, John, you said this.
so we have an agreement to implement that financial wellness piece, and that'll be on the retirement board's agenda next month.
So I just kind of wanted to give a brief overview of that so when you see that next month on me for approval. And then if you'll look at pages, 34 and 41 in the review, we don't have that pulled up, but it talks about the regulatory and legislative updates. And I wanted to point out for 2025, the increase of $500 in that $23,000 is now $23,500 for employees under age 50. The catch-up remained the same at $7,500 for those age 50 and over. And then we have new this year is the super catch-up. And the IRS wanted to add a little more administration to your plan. So now we have, for those employees age 60 to 63, $11,250 they can sock away in their retirement. Again, this is only for ages 60 to 63. And that was something new the IRS put in place for this year. It was new. Any questions there before I move on? All right, we're going to look at the DC plan first. Assets increased by $12,478,892 from December 2023 to a total of $145,689,163 in Q4 of 2024. I meant to point out all of this information is of 12/31 of 2024. So keep that in mind. There was right at $8.1 million in employer contributions, and then right at almost $17 million in earnings. The highest percentage of assets are held in the Standard Stable Value Fund at 26%, and along with the highest number of participants invested in that fund at 767 participants. There are currently 309 participants holding a fund as a single investment, excluding life cycle.
Excuse me just a minute.
Yeah.
In fact, I noticed this when I was reading this earlier today.
Mhm.
The highest number of participants invested in that fund is 767.
Yes.
John, how do we get 767?
767 employees or retirees chose to invest in a certain fund. So I think that's the fund with the highest number of participants in that fund. Since our plan is self-directed, they choose which funds they invest their money in, and that's the biggest one that most people flock to.
Okay, I understand that. My question was, okay, I guess 767. All right, I guess that would make sense. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. And then of those 309 participants holding that single fund, we had talked about maybe sending out a postcard about diversification. We always look at if you have a high number in one fund, we like to think about just sending a postcard that says he thought about diversifying and the benefits of diversifying. There's currently 1,146 active participants in the plan with an average account balance of $89,348. And that's on page 50, but I don't think you have this in front of you. So there's 127 terminated retired participants in the plan with a balance less than $7,000, and then we have 318 with a balance greater than $7,000. Any questions before we move on to the 457 plan? Okay. In the 457, assets increased by $548,831 from December to fourth quarter of 2024 for a total of $3,488,000. There was $349,000 in employee contributions and then $450,000 in earnings. In this plan, the highest percentage of assets is in the Fidelity 500 Index at 16%, and the highest number of participants are invested in the Vanguard Target Retirement 2045 at 113. There are 94 participants holding a fund as a single investment, excluding life cycle. And so what we mean when we say excluding life cycle, it's those Vanguard Target Date Retirement Funds. That is one fund, but it's managed, it's diversified across different managers, so we don't consider that one fund. We have 255 active participants in the plan with an average account balance of $11,591. And then we have pre-tax contributions totaling $263,000, and then the Roth was just under $64,000. And then 236 terminated or retired participants with a balance 7,000 or less, and then 23 with a balance of 7,000 or above. As far as the market insights and investment, we have our investment team that covered that with John back a couple of weeks ago. But I did want to point out, compared to the expense ratio of 0.24 compared to the peer category average of 0.80. So you're paying much less than your peers. So, any questions on any of that? I went through it rather quickly, so.
Questions? If not, do we have a motion to receive the report as presented?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
If you could push your buttons for me, please. Thank you. Whoever seconded. Thank you.
Thank you again. Okay, item number 9 is the defined contribution master service agreement renewal with BOK. John?
Sure, this is our annual renewal. There are no changes to this agreement and no changes to the price.
I like. Hear a motion?
Make a motion?
Okay. Got a motion to approve. Did I hear a second? Brandon, did you second? Okay. Okay, got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Item number 10 is the 457 master service agreement renewal with BOK. Got a motion?
Motion.
Second? We got a motion and a second. All
Mr.
in favor?
Roberson, if you could push your button for me, please. Thank you.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, the next item, 11, is this action regarding the pension plan service agreement with Sageway Actuary. John?
Sure, this is our annual pension valuation report that Sageview completes. They also complete the necessary disclosures. The price is the only change to this agreement and went up by $250.
Up by how much?
$250.
Okay, so it's up to $12,150 is the total.
Correct.
Okay. Any questions? Motion?
Motion approved.
Got a motion and a second to approve. All in favor? Aye. Item number 12, discussion possible action regarding a letter of engagement with our financial audits.
Sure, this is an annual renewal for our pension plan financial audit with Linda Alschwedy. There's no change to the agreement, same price as last year, $5,750.
Move.
Got a motion, got a second. All in favor? Aye.
Always vote for the accountant.
Item 13, the defined contribution retirement and health benefits for Mr. Robert Garrett. John?
Sure, Mr. Garrett worked for District 3 for 34 years and he qualifies for retirement.
District 3. Do we hear a motion?
Motion?
Second? Do we get a second?
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Defined contribution, retirement, and health benefits for Augie. Can't believe Augie's leaving us. John?
As you know, Augie worked for the IT department. He's been here 9 years. He qualifies for retirement.
Okay. I'd move Augie.
He was a good hire. We brought him in from Ohio, I think. We found him through an agency.
He's a good man. We're going to miss him. All right. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Item 15, Mr. Wallace Henderson.
Sure. Mr. Wallace Henderson worked for District 1, longtime employee, worked here 30 years, qualifies for retirement.
He worked here 30 years. He qualifies for a lot of things. Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a motion? Move it. Second?
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Defined contribution retirement benefits to Miss Brenda Kitchen.
Correct. She works in drug court department. She worked there for 14 years and she qualifies for retirement.
Okay. Yes, do we have a motion and a second?
Motion approved. Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, if we could, let's go back to item number 6. It's been pointed out to me that we did not take any action, and we probably do. If nothing else, the action that we need to take is to affirm those dates. The dates for the signing up and the date for the election. So with that in mind, do I hear someone who would like to make a motion on 6?
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to approve item number 6 as previously presented to us. All in favor? Aye. Okay, that concludes its, all right, board comments. We're gonna start down here with John.
No, thank you.
Since you, I understand. Donna?
Have a nice week.
Watch the basketball team.
Amen to that. I'll second that. Paul?
Go Thunder.
No.
Stay thundered up.
Thank you. Brandon, you're just a very serious individual. All right, thank you all. Hearing nothing else, we are adjourned.